you're deceiving them and they don't know, so they will not listen to you. They're so ignorant. So speak a language which is understandable by them. This simple language of happiness and sorrow, pleasure and loss, gain and loss, this is understood by them. And this is why Hadhrat Nuh is quoted in the Holy Quran to have referred to such efforts in these terms. He says, "Oh my Lord, I have exhausted all my logic and all my arguments, and I have warned them, and also I have given them hope." This is what I mean. He does not only speak of his logic and arguments, he says, "I have warned them of the consequences, and also I have given them hope. That if you listen, then you will receive Allah's mercy, Allah's favors and His bounties." And also he tells us, according to the Holy Quran, he prayed to Allah and that, "Oh my Lord, not only this, knowing people to be built differently in different ways, I have also spoken to them privately in the dead of night, under the cover of darkness. And also I have spoken to them openly, in the public, in the broad daylight." That is also a very beautiful hint for those who want to preach. Some people, when you speak to them in public, they are afraid of each other and they are not in a listening mood. If they begin to nod favorably to you, they notice that other people are observing and they are afraid of them. So such people should be given a chance in private. That is to say, you should invite them sometimes in private sessions, or he should go to their houses with very serious intent and with concern in your eyes. That I've come to warn you, I've come to tell you, you don't listen in the public and you begin to nod with the enemy. I understand that phenomenon, but please, now there is nobody else, only Allah is watching us. So I have come to you to tell you that this is true, and don't misbehave. If you must oppose us, you oppose us in the manner that Ahmad used to oppose his enemies, through forgiveness, through kindness and all that. Don't oppose us as the enemies of Ahmad opposed him. So start in these simple terms, which do not need any argument to sink into their heart. The very simple, truthful words carry a force which cannot be resisted. So change your methods, sometimes speak to them openly, sometimes in private, and sometimes with logic, of course, based on the Holy Quran and tradition, and sometimes in the very simplest words possible, as simple words as possible for you. And prayer, as I must remind you again, as I mentioned in the first place, is the most important factor in bringing about changes. I keep receiving this information from various places that when Ahmadis fail to have conversions, and they wrote to me, and I always remind them, look here, there is something, maybe you are neglecting prayer. This is why you don't get the good results. And many a time, not once or twice, many a time I receive this happy news that immediately we realize after your letter that this is exactly what was lacking. And once we started praying, miracles began to happen. The same people who wouldn't listen before, they would come and they say, okay, give us your letters and so on and so forth. So that is the most important single factor to be used in the armament of a missionary. Bashir outside, your father, where is he?
He sent his apologies.
So he sent you not quite.
As it happens, I do have a question.
Yes.
He also requested you to pray for him. As my question relates to life after death, the question is regarding the spiritual advancement of the soul. What will be the nourishment? We are told that after death, life, the soul will advance as well. What will be the nourishment for the soul to advance? Advance after that. That's right. The spiritual advancement of the soul.
The development
The development of the soul. That's right. That's right.
I have spoken on this subject repeatedly before in London, here, in various previous sessions, and I feel quite extensively. So you better lay your hands to those cassettes, which of course have been now catalogued, and very soon, inshallah, the subject-wise list, which is catalogued, will be published and distributed among all Ahmadis of the world, so that whenever they face any one particular problem in any subject, they can lay their hand to it immediately and say, instead of having you have all the tape cassettes with you. It's impossible. They run into hundreds, and inshallah with the passage of time they will run into thousands. So all you can do is, you know the key, how to reach the right topic and the right cassette, and whenever you come into discussion with your non-Hindu friend or you yourself are agitated about something, most probably you will be able to find out the answer in some cassettes. So that will inshallah help, and the people who are responsible for this, the group of three, they are doing some wonderful job. Akeem Mia and Rafiq Javed and Mubarak. They told me this morning, or perhaps yesterday, that they have about finished it now. And inshallah very soon all these catalogs will be published. But to briefly answer you again, maybe there are some people who have just come for the first time and they may not come again, and they may not have time or may not go through the botheration of finding which cassette and so on. So I'll answer you in brief. The Holy Quran has spoken on this subject in various verses, but the most important and the most fundamental, in my opinion, is the short verse which says, "Ma wa ma khalqukum wa la ba'thukum illa ka nafsin wahida." That your first creation, al-khalqukum, and your second creation, not reincarnation but resurrection, are like the creation of one single being, nafs wahida. Now what does it mean? Is both these are similar to the creation of one single being. In another verse, light is shed on this process, where attention is drawn of the Muslims to the phenomena of creation of embryo. And it is said that you study how embryo goes through various phases and is given different shapes. Then you will understand the phenomena of life, the creation. So both these verses are related and coupled. That means that as you were brought forth to this world in the first place, like the creation of a single being in the uterus of your mothers, similarly your soul will go through a chain of developments and a long process of developments, which would start from almost nothing and end up into a very highly complex being. This is the message. And now you understand that when the first contact is established between the sperm of the father and the ovum of the mother, that creature is so insignificant and so meaningless to the naked eye, and even to the eyes of most powerful microscopes, that it is just a small dot which is not visible with the naked eye, and a dot which has no surety of any time, no features have developed of any time. But it has the embryonic quality of great developments.